Hey everyone, welcome, and today I'm going to show you how to properly debug your ipynb notebook in VS Code. So this is actually useful and very important if you are working on a large project and you want to see how to debug your code, right? So without further ado, let's just start. So what I'm gonna do first is write a simple Python code. So let's say I have nums equals 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, right? And I want to print this. So but let's create a loop that will print every element in this list, right? So let's do for I in range of length of nums. What I want to do is print nums of I, right? You would do this normally. This is what we do, but we're trying to debug and we are trying to see what happens at each and every step, right? If you just run it like this, let's say do run all, it's gonna show you. Okay, why is it taking so long? Okay, let's do it one more time. Let's interrupt that, and I think I need to start the kernel. Okay, cool, no problem. So let's run it again. I think it's trying to activate the environment, which is usually the case once you activate the virtual environment, or even at least any Python working environment. It will execute the code afterward. So I think it's working now. So let's run it one more time. It's going to be faster, as you can see, right? So the point is, what this code snippet doing here is that it's printing every element in this list, which is nums, right? 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. And this loop will, let's write it down, okay? So what the loop is doing is every time it's reading 100 and 200, right? So for I equals 0, which is 100, until the end of the list, or the end of the list, it's gonna print. So it prints 100 and then goes back to the second element, prints 200, 300, so on and so forth, right? But we want to see it step by step. So if you go to the left hand side, there's a icon here. It says run and debug, and if we just click run and debug, we have to choose a type of file. For this case, it's going to be Python file. And then what happens? Okay, all right, it's running. Nothing, right? So you might be wondering what is happening here. I want to see how the program is working, and then maybe what you can do is, if you bring your pointer, like your cursor, to the left hand side of the cell, you can see the red dots. So that means you can give a breakpoints. These are the breakpoints. So click here, and it's gonna pop up another window, sub window actually, and says where our breakpoints are. So let's do it one more time. Run and debug. It doesn't stop, it just runs and doesn't show anything that is helpful for us, right? Okay, so this is because we didn't set up any configuration, and it took me some time to figure it out. That's why I thought it would be helpful for you to know if I make a video about it, right? So the problem here was that we are not doing run and debug as if this is a Python file. This is a notebook file, which is ipynb file, right? So what we need to do is go here to the small icon, click on the arrow, click on debug cell. So what it does is it will only consider this cell for our debugging. It's gonna open up the windows, right? Now we can see something is cooking. That's good. And another new something came up here, right? As you can see, these are the buttons we're gonna use and see. So the next thing I would like to do usually is I like to set the variable that I want to watch. So let's say I want to watch I. Press enter. Okay, fine. And let's press this step into. So first time I is 0, it printed 100. That is cool. Then I is not available because it's printing. I think it's clearing the variable. And I is 1, right? So 1 is 200, looks good. And then while this code is running, it shows not available, but as soon as the code finishes running, it's showing us 200, right? So let's keep doing it. I is 2, 300, 400, 500, and 600, right? There's no 600. So this is okay, but let's make it even more easier for us. So I want to close this, close the debugging, and I want to add something here. So what if I do something like, okay, watch this equals what I want to watch is the nums I, right? And then I want to print okay. So now we will have two variables, which is I and watch this. Then also print statement is going to print in the console here. So the benefit of doing this is that we can explicitly say what we want to watch and what are the indexes I am in, right? So let's debug the cell, and right now I is not available because it's running, right? So it initialized at 0. So let's go one by one, okay? And let's add one more watch variable. As you can see here, if you scroll down just like that, you will see watch this variable, which is here 100, right? So I want to separate that with the all the variables that I'm not interested in, at least at this point. So I just want to watch I and watch this variable. So let's step into the cell. The first time it is 0, I is 0, and watch this variable is supposed to give me nums I, which is perfect, which is 100, right? So let's go one more time. I is 1, then I have 100. Why? Because we just finished this step, the first step. The second step is yet to run because the yellow pointer is here. So now it's gonna run this cell and print watch this, and it wouldn't change the I equals 1, meaning that it didn't go to I equals 2. Let's check that. Very cool. So it was I equals 1 and 200, right? So now what happens is 200 is not gonna change, and I will be going to 300, right? So because it goes to this first line of the loop. So let's see here. Very cool. It just went there. And one more step will change the value of I over here. Very cool. See here, I equals 2, which is 0, 1, and 2, which is at 300. But the watch this is not executed yet. So it was from the previous state, which is 200. So if you step one more time, it will change into 300. So this is getting interesting. Like you can slowly see what is going to your code right now, right? And this is what you want to know. Very interesting. And I think that is it. I thought it would be helpful for everyone trying to learn how to debug in the VS Code. I hope it was helpful. If it was, please subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.